There are two ways that relaxation can make a huge difference if we struggle with social anxiety. The first is while we're in a social situation and our fight or flight response might have been triggered, because learning to not get caught up in our thoughts can allow us to stay grounded in the present moment. The second is in our day-to-day lives when our levels of stress chemicals remain elevated due to the constant activation of our threat response. In this video, I'll explain why we're always so on edge and a simple method that we can use to begin to reduce how often we get triggered. Hey, I'm Neil and I struggled with social anxiety for more than 2 decades. On this channel, every week, I'll be bringing you the best methods and strategies that I've used to feel more confident in my own life. When we're anxious, our sympathetic nervous system, which controls our fight or flight response, is highly activated, and when our brain thinks that we're in danger, it will automatically tense our muscles up in order to try and protect us. The trouble is that all the chemicals that get released into our body when we're on high alert stick around afterwards because we don't run away as our body has tried to prepare us to do, so we don't end up burning them off. And over time, these can lead up to chronic problems, physical symptoms in our body, like muscle tightness and things like IBS. We've probably been experiencing this for such a long time that it's become our default state, and we're probably not even aware of it. But if we actually check in on our body, we'd likely notice that our shoulders are often very stiff and tight, and maybe we clench our stomach or our teeth from time to time without even realizing it. If we've struggled with social anxiety for a very long time, then it's likely that our body is constantly on high alert because our SNS has been activated so often that it's just become such a normal thing to do, and it can even be activated by the slightest of thing, even something like a door slamming or just a radiator pinging can cause us to tense up, perhaps in part due to all the traumatic experiences we might have been through in the past. We might feel as though we're constantly on edge, and our brain might think that we're reliving situations from our past that has made us feel anxious, and as a result of all this, we might find that relaxing is something that is very difficult to do. We need to have a way to regularly flush all of this tension and stress chemicals that are built up out of our system. The parasympathetic nervous system, which often gets referred to as rest and digest, is the opposite of the sympathetic nervous system, and it's responsible for relaxation and recovery. We can activate the PNS by inducing something known as the relaxation response, and studies have shown that this will help to counter the effects of the fight or flight, and it will lead to a reduction in the activity of our SNS. Relaxation techniques are some of the best ways to activate our PNS, and neuroimaging studies have even managed to map the changes that occur in our brain while we're doing relaxation. Anxiety and other similar conditions are triggered or even worsened by muscle tension, whereas if you can learn to relax your muscles, this can create the opposite effect. So when you make your body relaxed, this will send signals to your brain that everything is okay. Regularly triggering the relaxation response can even go as far as to prevent and even reverse any harmful effects that have been caused in the past. Unlike our fight or flight response that can just get triggered by our day-to-day stresses, to induce the relaxation response, we have to set aside time and make the conscious effort to do it, and we can follow the following steps to make that happen. The first thing is to find a quiet environment where we can relax. And then secondly, we need to have some word or phrase that we can repeat to ourselves over and over again. Next, we need to have a passive attitude, and that means not worrying about how well we might be performing the exercise. So every time we might get distracted, we need to just return our focus back to what we were doing and focus that on our breath and the phrase that we're repeating to ourselves. And then finally, just make sure that we're sat in a comfortable position. It was actually discovered later on that only steps 2 and 3 are essential to trigger the relaxation response, and we can actually do it using a more active approach. So while we're doing things like swimming or yoga or even going for a run, it actually doesn't matter whether we're sitting down, standing up, or even on the move. We could be out jogging on a busy street and still trigger the relaxation response, so long as we make sure that we bring our attention back to our breath and the word or phrase that we're using as we do it. It's been shown that practicing this for about 10 to 20 minutes twice a day can have a very big impact on our well-being, but if we do stop doing it, then it doesn't take that long for the effects to wear off, and it can be even in as little as a few days. If you're just starting out and you've not done something like this before, it can be much better to begin by practicing while you're at home when you're feeling relatively relaxed and calm, and then as you get better at it, you can try to use it while you start feeling anxious, or taking it outside and doing a more active on-the-go type of activity. Say for instance with breathing exercises, if you practice these at home to begin with, then when you've been doing them for a while and you start to get quite good at them, you can try to work them into your routine when you start to experience social anxiety, and use these instead of your typical response in the past, which is probably going into your head, adding more worry and negative thoughts and leading you to feel more anxious. Instead, you can bring your attention back to your breath and focus on your rate of breathing instead. The less activated our sympathetic nervous system becomes through the regular practice of the relaxation response, then the more it's going to take in future for these triggers, these little things, to tip us over the edge and open those floodgates of social anxiety, because we'll be in a more relaxed state. And even if we do get triggered and feel anxious, once we've got these techniques that we can use as our go-to, the effects of the anxiety shouldn't last as long, and we should get better at returning ourselves to a calm state in general, and we'll just feel a lot better overall and a lot more comfortable in lots of different social situations. If you'd like to take big steps towards overcoming social anxiety, I run weekly online group sessions where you can practice gradually easing your way outside of your comfort zone in a safe environment. I'll put the link down in the description. If you want to watch more, then click here to check out my latest video. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this content valuable, then please hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.